if you think you're hot, put yourself in the shoes of some of your ancestors who lived before we had air conditioning.
How did they manage? Jordan Burgess' life with that answer.
Hey, right now I've got the shirt and tie on and the long pants, and I can tell you just standing out here a few minutes, you really start sweating. You can feel it today. But at least I can go back inside to the air conditioning after this. But hundreds of years ago, well, they didn't have that kind of relief, so that had to be rough. I can't even imagine it. I'm getting overheated just thinking about it. But somehow, back then, they managed. Starting a fire like this one in heat like this would be considered crazy nowadays. But hundreds of years ago, it would be strange not to see a few embers burning.
If you want to cook dinner, you need to have the fire.
That's one of the lessons a group of students learned at CARILLON Historical Park. The kids have been spending all week at a history camp and doing things like cooking their own lunch.
They're kind of early settler survival camps, and so we try and take them through as many things as we can related to early settlement here in the Miami Valley.
Nothing like turkey roasted over an open fire. Although on a day like this, you might be able to cook it on the sidewalk. But the kids didn't seem to mind the hot weather, and even those covered from head to toe in history were holding up okay.
It gets a little warm for folks, but you know, through the modern conveniences of our own Charles F. Kettering, we have air-conditioned buildings here at the park, and they can find refuge in those buildings.
Although, what about the time before air conditioning?
There were some areas where you could get away from it.
The president of Dayton History says bodies of water would be a welcome relief, along with rides in the carriage or motor car. Or you could spend the day in a root cellar. But a lot of times, they just got used to it.
They didn't know any difference. You know, we get out of our air-conditioned car and think, oh my gosh, what are we doing? That wasn't even an option prior to 1900. So it was just the way they lived.
Now, I asked Brady if all the heat had hurt attendance, and he told me not too much because of those air-conditioned buildings. He said that way you can go outside and enjoy what it was like back then and then duck back inside the air conditioning. Reporting live, Jordan Burgess, 2 News on your side.